Tom hating his wife and wanting. Oh, of all the gin joints and all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Whatever We Want podcast. How y'all doing?
Hey. I'm just saying, hey,
You want some
hello.
crazy money? Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Hey. That's that. Hey. Having some crazy money. Are you ready?
Like fucking the dude from SpongeBob.
Now, there's a bit more, slightly more high pitched. It's like, are you ready?
Honestly, yeah, you on the money with that one. I'm your host with the most. I'm not gonna say that every time from now on. What the fuck? I'm your host, Jazz, aka Superjaz, aka SJ, JT, whatever you would like to call me. And I think I said it already. This is the Whatever We Want podcast. I'm here with my good friend, my co-host.
Y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feogrande on YouTube, Pete on this show. How you doing? I already said that, but how you doing?
And for those of you all who do not know, for those of you all who've been rocking with us and staying rocking with us, we appreciate it. But as everybody knows, some of y'all may not. Welcome to the Whatever We Want podcast, where we on the podcast talk about just that, whatever we want. We don't have a topic, we don't have a structure, we don't have whatever. We just go. And this is episode 11. So we just basically talking about whatever. Honestly, I don't even have something to prompt this one with, so I'm really gonna look around my room on some Kaiser Soze shit. Spoiler alert, if you actually get that, or some Kaiser Soze shit, and just say, Pete, I'll ask you a random question. It's gonna be a little bit on the spot, but how do you feel, or how did you feel when I first told you that I was gonna start getting into making music?
Cool. Dude, like, I've gone on numerous times talking to you, maybe not on camera, but definitely off camera,
Yeah.
and told you how proud I was of you and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
drive to try and get things done in your life. And, positively, in a positive way, envious I was of. What I'm saying, how positive, in a positive way, I've been envious of your ability to do so. But so you told me music, I was like, I didn't see that coming. But
I didn't.
okay. But okay. I mean, he gonna get it. If he wants to go get it, he gonna try to go get it. We'll see what happens. And you've been going at it.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
No, when I first started going down the music journey, and I always say my music journey, I would post that on Facebook and some of my socials, and I always say it like that because acting always felt like something that acting found me. I found music. I stumbled into cooking. That's how I look at it. But with acting, I guess because I got it at a young age, it always seemed like something that I would eventually figure out or do. But music always seemed like something that I was like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not going to figure this out. And then when I started kind of figuring it out, it was like, oh, shit. So you say you didn't see it coming? I didn't either. So, yeah. What?
It was like music. When I started figuring it out, I was like, "Oh shit!" Just the timing of my phone, I got like,
I didn't hear your phone.
I got an alert right when you went, "Oh shit!"
I didn't hear it.
So
That's why I didn't get the joke. I didn't hear that. Okay. Yeah, I when I started figuring it out, and I mean, granted, my earlier stuff, and you all are, and I don't want this to be all about let's stroke Jazz's ego this whole podcast, but just because we started off, but if you all want to, you can feel free and go look up 20 something 20 something, same difference, me under the name Superjaz and my good friend Dieter Bionic we basically learned together how to write music, make beats, conduct yourself in the studio, and then put your stuff up on streaming websites, which anybody can do. If you don't know how to do it, it's TuneCore, TuneCore.com. TuneCore. And you pay them so much money, you renew it every year or so, and then that is how you get your shit up. Most people don't know that. It's so much easier than you think, but we looked it up. We learned all that shit together. You can definitely hear the growth from 20-something to same differences. Last song, Kick the Door In, which was when me and Darius found out, oh, we actually getting better at this shit. We might actually be good. 20-something sounds like some people who didn't know what they were doing and were having fun. I love 20-something for what it is, but average person who hears it might be like, but I love it for what it was. It's a random amalgamation or a random conglomerate or whatever, not conglomerate, a random, well, conglomerate might be right, but just a random configuration of I use a different word every time, of two weirdos that got together and somehow had cohesion in the non-cohesion of their music. So, and I definitely hear the labor of love in it. Kicked the door and was like, oh, we just got better at this from just doing it. Experience is the best teacher. You can't learn without you just got to experience shit. Then you hear too much free time. Too much free time. I'm still playing a little bit. I can't wait to get my secret identity out, because then that's going to be even better. And then the one I have planned after that one, I already have kind of some titles. I mean, some thoughts, but that is going to be self-titled Superjaz.
Superjaz.
Because Superjaz, I came up with an acronym: Superstar Undergoing Personal Energy Realignment Journey from A to Z. Yeah. So yeah, and that is what that's going to stand for. But basically, man,
the best journey from A to Z.
Yeah, I couldn't really
jazz.
Yeah, SUPERJZ. Yeah. And I'm gonna have that's the one after my secret identity. I'm kind of letting y'all in on some behind the scenes shit, but I kind of have it planned that the first, like, the titles are gonna be Superstar, and then Undergoing, and then Personal, are like the names of the songs. But the biggest thing, man, that I would say that I found out in the arts is, if you want to do something, granted, barring COVID, obviously, if I'm speaking as though lockdown didn't hit, COVID never happened. If you want to do something, just do it. You're going to have your fears and your apprehensions at first. You're going to have your naysayers, and you're going to be a novice. Even if you're a natural to some extent, you're going to be a novice in this shit, man. But just do it. And if you care enough to get better, you will get better. If I think about where I was when I first started acting to where I am now, not saying that I definitely can't get better, I have a long way to go. And then if I think about where I was when I first started rapping, even more so to where I've gotten, it's really, if you want to do it, just do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. The only person who tells you you can't is you. Now, it is much harder. I've never experienced this, but I know some friends who said they have. It's much harder if your family isn't fully on board. Granted, I had 2 artist parents, so they were like, do whatever the fuck you want to do, just make sure you do it to the fullest and find a way to make money. But otherwise, yeah. But Pete, I will say to you, man, with your acting journey, when you decided that you wanted to act and whatnot, what ultimately got you to that point where you were like, yo, let me go ahead and actually put something into this, and actually say, like, this is what I want to do, and actually, like, do it. You know what I mean?
I feel like we talked about that a couple episodes.
I thought about it as I was asking that question, and I would say we talked about how you started, but what made you actually be like, yo, I want to keep going?
about the same situation as the like early start. The things that pretty much made me interested. Sorry. Things that made me get into it and realize that this is something I like around freshman year of high school. Like after doing that Guys and Dolls play and realizing I enjoyed it, and then doing any plays I did freshman year of high school, I just really liked the acting scene. I had people tell me I was good at it. And so that helps. And like you said, when you have a family and people around you that are supportive of your dream,
right,
then it's like, oh, okay, well, there you go. You're easily more ready to go forward, with life, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So having the support system I did, having the people tell me I was good at what I was doing, regardless of how I might have felt about that.
Right.
That helped me like, well, hey, maybe there's something here, and it's something I like doing. And as I got older, I realized there were a lot of things I don't like doing, but one of the things that sticks around as just something that I always find joy in, and that's entertaining people and getting a reaction out of people and doing stuff like that. Also, I am a bit of an attention whore.
Yeah, now we did talk
but
about this.
not. But I'm weird. I'm weird because I like having the attention on me, but not when it's just placed on me. Like, let's say I go to somebody because I like to refer to myself sometimes, or I used to refer to myself more often as an oxymoron, as in I have a lot of things that don't make sense. Like I'm a lazy perfectionist type deal. How you gonna be a perfectionist if you're too lazy to make sure it's perfect? Like, well, I am. It's weird. Not so much of that anymore as I used to be, but still kind of have a bit of that. But a shy attention whore in the sense that I want, people talking to me and stuff. And, if not, I might try and get the attention and spotlight. But, like, you go with me to someone and you're like, this dude is the best ever, blah, blah, blah. Hey, show him how good you are. It's like, well, now you put that way too fucking high up. I'd rather surprise people. Like, I'd rather pleasantly surprise people if there is pleasantry to be had with my talent than have them be disappointed in my talent. Or in my lack of talent and let down, if that makes any sense.
How often does it happen to you where you get put on the spot like, oh man, Omari's the shit, blah, blah, blah?
Less now. But a lot more when I was younger, but my mom would try to like hype me up to people.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, the mom, I could see not even your mom, but just a mom doing that. I could see that.
And rightfully so, because like people say, you have to sell yourself in this field. But it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, if there's that setting up them expectations only to undershoot said expectations. Like I get you plant the seed where people are, looking for what's good in you and stuff. Like you don't want to go out there saying you're terrible. But me, I'm like, you also don't want to oversell because people are going to be looking to cut that shit down. Like, you know what I mean? They're looking for what's wrong at that point, and that amplifies just how not the shit you are until where they just like, yeah, this guy's not good. He thinks he is, but he's not. And then you're just one of the millions and millions that
podcast without one.
Huh?
You can't go whole podcast without one.
I don't know. We even got one last episode. For a second, I thought we did, but when we was talking about Dynamite. And I did the light the fuse, Dynamite, the fucking AEW Dynamite theme song. So nope, not a single episode yet.
The millions, anyway.
While I do the Stone Cold, oh hell yeah, to say and millions. Anyway, yeah, then you're just one of the millions of people that out there that think they can do something in this business that end up not doing anything in the business.
That is true.
As I'm getting older, it's looking more like I am in that secondary category, but there's still a lot of time left. We'll see what happens.
Secondary category being, say it again.
The millions that think they hot shit but ain't shit.
Man, you are not an ain't.
I said it's seeming like, but there's plenty of time left.
You are not an ain't shit, bro. We don't have to turn this into a therapy session, but
No, I'm not trying to turn it into therapy. I'm saying you look at the resume. I don't have much to support the I am the shit at the moment statement. I said it's looking like so far I'm in that category. But we have a lot of time to move forward in my life.
Speaking
and
of
get in the good category.
Speaking of wrestling references, DDP was a rookie at 35. So it ain't never too late. You want to, the biggest, like I say, man, the biggest thing to do is just do it. Like I said, we don't turn this into the fucking therapy session of Omari.
We really don't.
I wasn't going, but you were like, no, please stop, Jazz.
Like, we really don't have to turn it into one of those. But yeah, you asked what made me get into this field, and it is the field itself. I realized it is what I wanted to do with my life pretty much going into high school. I went into high school with 3 fucking routes that I was possibly gonna take, and by the end of freshman year, I chose one. It was either gonna be pro wrestling, football, or acting.
I remember you for a while were talking about wanting to be a pro wrestling manager.
It's one of those things where I have considered it, because that's literally my only path into pro wrestling now is managing / commentary. Like, athleticism, that's out the window. I didn't start young enough to be an athlete.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, when it comes to athletic type stuff, there is a window. Because I've always thought about when it comes to the arts and stuff like that, that thankfully, pretty much anything in the arts, whether it's visual art, like sculpting, painting, whether it's podcasting to an extent might be an art, whether it's stand-up comedy, whether it's acting, whether it's music, whatever the fuck, none of those have a window. You could break into this shit. You're gonna look a little crazy breaking into rapping at 63, but you can still do it. Shit, fucking 2 Chainz broke into, he was Titty Boy at first. Glad he changed it. I know, yeah. T-I-T-Y and then B-O-I. I'm not making it up.
I know.
But yeah,
funny.
He was Titty Boy.
I believe you entirely.
And then he changed the name to 2 Chainz because it was much more marketable and could go further. But 2 Chainz got big rapping wise at like 33. So yeah. And he has a lot of street cred and people love him and popularity. So thankfully, arts, there's no ceiling. I mean, not ceiling, window, but there is unfortunately a window in athletic stuff like pro wrestling.
Yeah, so if I wanted to get into pro wrestling, my window's gone unless I go to manager or commentator route.
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna let you talk. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I really like, and yeah, because I've always liked pro wrestling growing up. Like we just mentioned, we have not gone a single episode without making a single wrestling reference. 11 episodes in, huh?
Even for one sentence, right?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so that was always in the back of my mind. I actually considered, because I had a friend who was getting into it down here in Florida when I was in my 20s.
Oh, word.
And he was inviting me, but you know me forever. You know I have shitty knees. And I was like, physical health. Should I go into wrestling? I already have terrible knees. And, wrestlers, like most athletes, there's that whole, you got your glory years and it's painful doing that, but you can kind of shake them off. But once your career is over, your every moment in life is pain. And I'm like,
Mick Foley can still walk around normal.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I already have a lot of my waking moments being pain. But, being a wrestling manager and taking a bump or two every now and then because, I done pissed off somebody enough because, faces don't get managers. It's only heels.
To help sell the story, basically, you take a bump, right?
Mm-hmm. And at that point, I would need to have somebody else with me, like be paired with the right person. You know what I mean? So that I can be that manager for when that person inevitably does the face turn and kicks me to the curb. I can get somebody else. but no, like acting's just been a lifelong thing.
I didn't know you were into football like that. I knew you liked to watch it, but I didn't know you ever wanted to be a player.
It was a very short-lived phase. I pretty much same thing with the pro wrestler thing. I realized how non-athletic I was in the same summer, like because I did that football camp and the wrestling camp, and
I didn't know you did that. Was that before? No, you were in high school, so that was after I met you.
Yeah, it was before freshman year of high school. I went because there was the summer camps for the high school, and after the summer camps, you could probably join the team or try out to join the team. It's kind of a way to get in there, you know, beforehand, so the coaches like have a relationship with you, that kind of shit. So I entered a football and I entered wrestling, and football I'm really happy I didn't do because my thought process is I'm gonna be a running back, not because I really wanted to be a running back. I wanted to be on defense and hit the shit out of people, but I was never big back then. I was always like short and small in stature. So I didn't, and me not knowing enough about football to know that cornerback's a position for people to be, you know, out and running and shit like that and break up plays, or safety for that matter. I was just like, I'm not big enough to tackle people, so they're not going to put me on defense. I'm not big enough to be on offensive line. I can't catch that well, so I can't be a wide receiver, and I can't throw, so I can't be a quarterback. But put the ball in my hand and tell me to run forward, yeah, I can do that. So I was like, I'll do the running back position, which is funny with how injury prone and wary I am nowadays. Running back's the worst position if you worry.
I was gonna say the one thing about running back is I kind of wanted to. I never fully pursued it. I wanted to do football a little bit at one point. I always loved playing football in backyards and shit like that. But I never really wanted to be on a team. I used to love playing tackle football too. Fuck that bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Play Killer Man.
Killer Man, fucking Killer Man. That's that hood shit. Killer Man was the shit. Real quick for y'all who don't what. What?
Out of context statements. Oh yeah, I like playing Killer. That's that hood shit. Yeah, like Killer Man. Yeah, I like playing Killer Man. Killer Man was the shit.
I was about to explain it, but no, you're right. That does sound crazy. No, okay. Look at now what you laughing hysterically. For y'all who don't know, real quick, Killer Man was basically football with like this podcast, no structure, and you would just have on a vacant lot, you and however many kids, like let's say 10 of y'all, might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less, wouldn't be too much less than that though. And then y'all basically just running around, juking each other and just slipping tackles, all kind of shit. The second you get tackled and get knocked down, then they're like, oh, okay, you tackled. Everybody back up. They let you throw the ball in the air. Somebody else catches it, and they just run around until they get tackled. They get tackled. All right, okay, gotcha.
I think you had to. The main thing is you could go, you know, up and down the field to try and score.
You're trying to run. You're trying to run down like down up and down the field. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know to get as many points as you can. But the idea is it's everybody versus the guy with the ball. Oh, yeah. Kill the man with the ball is something that I've actually heard. Because I asked my friends down here, they're like, what the hell is Killer Man? But I actually heard someone on YouTube, some white dudes on YouTube, like, you ever play football? Yeah, you ever play Kill the Man with the ball? And I was like, oh.
With the ball.
Yeah, I'm like.
Leave it to black people.
I mean.
Leave it to black people to shorten some shit. Fucking kill the man with the ball. Oh, yeah, Killer Man.
What? Too many words.
That's what I was like. Wait.
You guys want to play Kill the Man with the ball? Or you want to play Kill a Man?
Was that the actual name of the game?
That's how they refer to it.
I
don't know if that's the actual name of the game, or I don't know if the game has a proper thing. It's more of a concept than a game.
Well, I was gonna say, now, excuse my language, but some of my white friends posted because it was like a whole thing on Facebook where it was like, what did you call this game where you run around until you get tackled and then you throw the ball in the air and somebody else catches it and there's no time limit, Killer Man, right? But it's like, what'd you call it? A lot of my black friends were saying Killer Man, Killer Man, Killer Man, Killer Man. I even said I called it Killer Man. So my white friends were like, yeah, I feel bad, but we used to call this smear the Q. Yeah.
People have different things they call it. It's called a lot of things, but the idea is it's everybody versus this one motherfucker over here. No, we knew what you were talking about. Where everyone's just like, get rid of this dude with the over here. But yeah. So when I almost hurt my shoulder in wrestling and damn near dislocated it, I was like, and I say damn near, that's kind of an exaggeration, but also kind of not, considering it got caught under me while I was rolling, and it hurt for like days. Like it easily could have just been pulled from its socket. I was like, I'm too injury prone. I'm not gonna do this, and I'll drop out of football. Mom, I'm just doing acting, and that's what it was. Because high school wrestling wasn't the wrestling I thought it was, like on TV.
It's not pro wrestling, right? Amateur wrestling is much different.
And kudos to everybody out there who does do amateur wrestling. And it would have helped had I got into it. A, it would have helped me be swole enough to be a pro wrestler. Two, it would have helped me just in that regard where, especially with me being short, where I could do the technical thing.
It would have given you skills to help you.
Yeah, I would have had the technical background, so I got that because I'm not a flipper. But me being short, I kind of have to be a flipper, or I have to be like Big E swole levels.
Well, that's why they say that Kurt Angle was one of the or was the one person that a lot of the wrestlers say took to it like water when he made the transition to pro wrestling. And one of those big things was because Kurt Angle had that amateur wrestling background, fucking Olympic gold medalist. So, of course, and when it came time for him to, be in the ring and be technical with the shit, the man was amazing.
And of course, with him, you got the legitimacy from the gold medal. Because people can look that up and be like, yep, that nigga won a gold medal.
Right. Speaking of which, Kurt Angle and the gold medal, you ever like hear about that movie Foxcatcher or surrounding that whole story?
Mm-mm.
So Kurt Angle won the gold medals, obviously. Kurt Angle was actually one of the wrestlers who was part of the Jean DuPont, the DuPont estates, and it's actually a fucking weird ass movie that Steve Carell played a character we've never seen him play before, based on a true story. Knowing it's based on a true story makes it even crazier. I think Steve Carell got nominated for Best Actor. I don't know if he won or not. But Steve Carell, Channing Tatum, Mark Ruffalo, and based on a true story of these two brothers, I forget their names. They were amateur wrestlers, and this dude, Jean DuPont, who was, almost on some like Rockefeller type shit where they had just like an endless wealth of inexplicable money. Just my money is super long. You don't know where it comes from. I'm made of money type shit. But he was a weird dude. You look at real life movies of this Jean DuPont guy, and he was just awkward fucking dude. Mm. But he took a liking to the two brothers that Channing Tatum and Mark Ruffalo played. And he like not like a liking in like a weird romantic way, just he liked them and liked their like athletic ability and whatnot. So he held him up on his estate and said, we'll pay you so much money to come and wrestle for the DuPonts, a DuPont estate, whatever fuck. And he even like held up Mark Ruffalo's family's character. Please post in the comments what their real names were. But Mark Ruffalo's family's character, he held him up with his like wife and kids, and then held up Channing Tatum's character and whatnot. And it's spoiler alert, but it also really happened in real life. So one point, I forget how we got here, but one point the character Mark Ruffalo played did something that the Jean DuPont character didn't necessarily like, but it wasn't even nothing that was that bad. And Jean DuPont, Steve Carell, pulls up on this man in his estate and is like, "Do you have a problem with me? Did you have an issue?" And just shot the dude in front of his wife.
Damn.
And this really fucking happened. And it was fucking weird as shit. Steve Carell did an amazing job in that movie, especially if you look at the character, like the real life person of who Jean DuPont was.
Mm-hmm.
Either John DuPont or Jean DuPont. I think it's Jean, but it's Jean, one of the two. You look at the real life character who he was. And then the characters that Mark Ruffalo and Channing Tatum played. Channing Tatum did a good job too, because that was another role you don't always see. What'd you just do?
Killing that.
But no, the
got one of these zapper things that landed on my can of Red Bull. I kind of just trusted at the top of the can and then was just like, fly into it. Then I started shaking this and it finally did and just died like 8 times. Pop, 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 pop.
Yes. But no, Channing Tatum also played a character that we'd never really seen him play before too, because Channing Tatum usually plays much more romantic comedy, romantic story type characters, and then of course your Magic Mikes and shit like that. So you see Channing Tatum play a character that's actually very serious, and he did a good job too. And he also like put on a certain amount of muscle mass in a certain way to get his physique to look more like the actual dude and more like an amateur wrestler type of physique and whatnot, and not chiseled male model stripper type shit. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it happened in real life is fucking crazy. Like you see, a lot of movies are like that where they might hit you a certain way, period, and then you find out that it's based on real events, and then it's like, oh, and it hits even more.
Yeah, it's crazy how much of real life seems like it's fiction.
Yes.
Like you can't write this shit. And it's like, yeah, I guess not.
Another Channing Tatum movie. So me and my mom, right? Me and my mom, we love watching movies. My mom definitely has me beat in the movie watching department. 1, I don't watch as many movies, especially classics, as I should. 2, my mom's retired. So aside from what she does here and there, she got a lot of time to just watch everything, which she does. But we both know out of the immediate family, we both love watching movies a lot. So sometimes we'll get together and we'll watch movies together and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that we'll do is if we try to find a movie that neither one of us has seen, but usually on my end, that's much harder because mama didn't seen this and this and this. So one thing that we'll do is we'll be like, okay, pick a decade. We'll be like 1980s. Okay. Pick a number between 1 and 27. And then we'll type in best movies of 1980s into Google. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Have you seen this? I haven't either. Okay, cool. So we did it one time and we found this movie called The Vow. I don't know if you ever seen that shit. Why would you? Who the fuck's heard of that damn movie, right? Who heard that shit? Mm-hmm. Yep. But for what it was, because it's throwaway as fuck. But for what it was, it's not bad.
Okay.
It is Channing Tatum, Rachel Mcadams, if you know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
She did
a movie with Channing Tatum.
What movie with Channing Tatum?
The Vow.
But I mean, I was like, besides that, fuck you. Fuck, what else did she do with him? The hell?
I've heard the name. I don't know what else she did though.
I was going to say Rachel McAdams, for y'all who don't know, was she most notably would be a younger Rachel McAdams was in Mean Girls, and she was also the hot chick in The Hot Chick of Rob Schneider. That's Switch Bodies. Yeah. Okay, word. But this movie is, first of all, the movie starts off crazy as shit. This movie,
wasn't she in The Notebook?
I think she was in The Notebook with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I love those cupcakes like McAdams loves Gosling. Lazy Sunday.
Okay. Never seen The Notebook. Heard it was
Neither
good.
have I.
Heard it was good. Maybe I'll watch it because I'm not gonna lie. I like a good movie and I can get into a good romantic comedy. I don't give a fuck if it's good. So yeah. What was I gonna say? So the movie starts off crazy as fuck, right? So spoiler alert if necessary for anybody who actually cares to watch this movie. But this movie, it's a snowy night, loving couple, husband, wife, Channing Tatum, Rachel McAdams, kind of on the younger side, obviously, because at the time they both couldn't have been no more than 30.
Okay.
And they are leaving wherever they're leaving. And they're driving this fucking car. This all happens within a few minutes. They're driving this car, and I think like a truck or some shit came out of nowhere. They slid in the snow. They hit some shit, like a fucking light pole or something. She didn't have her seatbelt on, got thrown from the fucking windshield. Fucking got like horrible accident.
Damn.
Yeah. She come to find out afterwards, he was good because he had his seatbelt on. She didn't have hers on yet, or I think she took hers off to see about something in the accident, and then that's when they got hit and she got thrown, something like that. So she's in the hospital bed. She wakes up. She has amnesia, and she remembers everything up to a point, but does not remember her husband. And he's like, yo, I'm your husband. I love you. We have this long life together. I love everything about you, you know. And then they even show these flashbacks of them basically having this guerrilla wedding with their friends where they were in this place when they shouldn't have been, and they loved each other, and they saying vows, but they running from the security guards, and you know, all this just little fun, young in love type shit and all this stuff, and like all these other times with everything like that. And she remembers none of this, and it shows you how much they loved each other and all this stuff. And he's like, wow, the woman I love, not only does she not know me, but I gotta convince her that I love her and that she loves me. First of all, convince her to live in my place with me. Because there's another scene where he's walking around naked, I take a shower, and she's like, oh my God. And he's like, baby, we've done so much together. We've had sex how many times, and you see me naked how many times? What the fuck? So yeah, he has to like basically convince her that she loves him all over again, and has to do all this stuff. And eventually he does, you know, fast forward, spoiler alert, eventually he does convince her that she loves him and all this stuff like that. And they even have the epilogue says they have 2 kids and shit like that. But this is why I say the shit that happens in real life is stranger, to bring it full circle, than fiction. It was based on a true story. And it said that not only did they end up getting together and having 2 kids and stuff, they said she never got her memory back.
Damn.
That's crazy. This podcast got sad as shit. But no, that's why I was saying it hits you harder, to bring it full circle on that point too. It hits you harder when you realize it's based on a true story. Because the movie itself, I was like, oh, okay, little romantic movie. Okay, young couple. Damn. Oh, it did have some points too. I was like, damn this. But then you find out it's based on a true story. Oh shit. So some dude out there really had to convince this woman to love him all over again.
Yeah, that's never fun.
After how many? Fuck, man.
Amnesia's a thing. And it's a bitch.
Do you have any personal experience with it? Or yeah, you ain't got to go into detail with the way you're talking.
I do not have personal experience with it, but I may or may not know people who.
That's what I meant. Okay. But the whole concept of amnesia is a crazy concept I think about sometimes, because it's one of those things where it makes me think, what happens to go beyond physical harm and leave a lasting impression that how much time of my life never happened to me.
I think there is a level of physical harm required for that, like
Well,
to
of
the
course,
brain.
right. But I mean to go beyond the physical harm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to me when you think about it. That it's like you got hit hard enough, but what makes it where you got hit hard enough to where it's not just I'm hurt, but yeah, this last year, 2 years, 10 years, as far as I'm concerned, I jumped from 20 to 30. None of that happened. That is crazy.
It is. It is. It is definitely crazy. Wouldn't wish it on anybody.
No. What was I gonna say though? But no. What's a movie, if you could think of one off the top of your head, what's a movie that you have seen that probably hit you a little harder than you probably thought going in? That's such a fucking on the spot ass question.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
When was the last time you cried in a movie? How about that? Or just a movie you cried in general? Did,
I will say, well, here's the thing. The majority of my life, like growing up, I tried my best not to cry at movies and stuff like that. Also, I cried a lot less when I was younger at movies than I did when I got older. And I think that's because as you get older, you're more exposed to how terrible life is. So you see it on TV and movies, and
like getting jaded, you mean?
you improvise. Well, no, more you get jaded, but for me, it's more like you have a you have a spot for empathy for the characters on screen when you have life experiences that lend themselves to said empathy. I guess is what I'm saying. As you get older, so a lot of stuff didn't do it. Like I will say, for instance, I don't know if I've ever like full on about any movie,
I don't think I've ever.
but as far as like little tears and stuff, it just depends on people's portrayals of things. I know one thing that the more I've watched it and the older I've gotten, it has gotten at least a bit more stuff building up. Is this moment in a very popular anime that I won't tell you, but I know it happened. Uh,
Oh shit.
so yeah, like I won't tell you what the moment is, but it was in One
Yeah.
Piece. That did
Oh,
it.
okay. I was thinking some Dragon Ball Z shit. I was like something Dragon
Nah,
Ball.
I don't think anything in Dragon Ball Z has.
I was surprised because I was like, something in the Dragon Ball universe got you like that? Really?
Nothing in Dragon Ball ever did that to me. One
It's too.
Piece had a moment or two where that happened.
I'm surprised One Piece got you. I was saying.
No, One Piece has some serious shit. I know you think it's like all little kitty stuff, and it does have that kind of
Well, I've
vibe
never
to
seen
it.
an episode, so I can't judge
I
it. So.
know it has that vibe to it, especially early on. But no, it has its moments where it's like, damn, that is pretty fucking sad. but
Right.
because I want to avoid spoilers, I won't go into exactly what that moment is. But if I were to describe it, it's like, damn, that's fucked up.
Right.
Um, Aside from that, like movies, I have not watched movies in general in a while because I don't watch movies as often as yourself.
Mm.
I usually don't go into movies. I don't watch that many tragedies because I'm like, if I'm watching a movie, I want to enjoy myself.
I've been like that a lot within the last few years. That most of the time, which is funny because as an actor, I think I take to drama easier than comedy, and I think I'm actually really good at drama. Not that I think I'm terrible at comedy, but yeah. But when I'm chilling at home, most of the time I'll be like, man, I do not want to feel sad right now.
Yeah, if I
So
want to be sad, I'll just think about life. I want to enjoy shit. Let me watch a movie. Look out the window. There, now I'm sad. People
big
killing, people dying, children hurting. You hear them crying. But the bottom line is, sorry, trying to be serious, but I can't help myself when it comes to making references to shit.
Love, right?
Hmm?
Where's the love?
Yeah, the love. But
I came with the echo. No. Oh shit. you said that soul just like yeah, the love. Like what? Okay.
Shit, what was I even talking about? Yeah, so what the hell was the last movie I saw in theaters?
Now, I mean, that was probably a while ago because we know how.
Well, yeah, 2020 and all that, but was it John Wick 3? That wasn't really tear inducing.
I don't think that would be too sad.
I'm sure I would have cried tears of shame for what they did to X-Men if I watched Dark Phoenix in theaters.
Yes, you would have, because that movie was fucking boring.
I think I would have cried tears just for the X-Men franchise.
Dark Phoenix is terrible.
I believe you. I still have to watch it one day.
As you were.
I still have to watch it and see its terribility for myself.
The only thing worse than bad is boring, and it's boring. Go ahead.
Damn. So yeah, I don't really have anything for you aside from if it was something on a rewatch that I watched when I was older. But as far as unexpectedly, as far as hitting me unexpectedly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, that got me. Because also, usually if someone prefaces a movie like, yo, this movie's sad, let's watch it. What? No.
Feel things, B.
I can feel happy, damn it.
You can feel happy, but also feel sad.
I can feel angry too. Those are two much better emotions than being sad.
Let's get angry at this person, happy for this person, and then sad about this person.
How about I just get happy and mad? Look, I am manic aggressive, all right? I always said that
manic aggressive.
I always said that growing up. I was manic aggressive. Like,
is that even like?
I don't know. But instead of being extremely happy or extremely depressed, I'm extremely happy or extremely mad. So I'm manic aggressive.
Okay.
It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I have an answer for you. I guess there's a roundabout way and say I've probably cried at an anime more recently than I've cried at a TV show or at a movie.
When you were talking about unless it was a rewatch, it ain't got to be something that's current, but you don't have nothing, period.
I cannot think of an example off the top of my head. It's not something I do often enough. And you would think that would make the instances stick out more, but I've not watched a lot of movies. I can't even remember the last time I sat down. I'm watching this movie. I've binged some animes. I need to binge a TV series. There's one series that I need to start watching because I watched 3 seasons of it. It ended like a decade ago. Everybody loved it. Everybody talked about it all the time, and it's harder and harder to fully enjoy the spoilers, and I'm going to have to start that series over. It's one Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah. You should watch that.
So, I saw like the first 3 seasons.
It's amazing.
I missed the last 3 seasons. I saw the ending though with Hal and Lois in the bed or whatever. So there's that.
I watched every episode of Breaking Bad but the last one because I found myself not liking the last few episodes. My brother says this is stupid, and for all intents and purposes, this is stupid. But I watched every episode of Breaking Bad, every episode of Breaking Bad except the final one. Because I remember loving the fucking show, like everybody, but not liking the last few episodes that much. And in a weird way, in my brain, if I don't watch the last episode, then I don't end up hating the show if it's not good. Because if I love all these episodes, didn't really like these episodes, this way, the show didn't let me down because I never watched the last episode to be underwhelmed. Do you feel me?
Mm-hmm. I still say good on you for calling Game of Thrones for the bullshit it was at season 1. Because I remember you refused to watch that shit because it was terrible. And you ended up being right. It was a terrible series.
No. I never said I don't want to watch Game of Thrones because it's bullshit.
You wore that shit like a badge of honor that you didn't watch that shit.
Well, it was just one of those. Everybody's watching it. Ooh, look at me. I was kind of on my high horse kind of shit. That's all that was. It was almost on some slap this motherfucker off this high horse.
Well, stay up there now because you were one of the smart ones.
But this was Game of Thrones. I never said I don't watch it because it's terrible.
I was not one of the smart ones, people. I watched the series the whole way through. I suffered like the rest of y'all.
I never said I didn't watch it because it was terrible.
Well, don't watch it now.
I'm saying I didn't go out of my way to not watch it. I just happened to not catch an episode. That's all that was.
Gotcha. Well, don't watch it now. Go out of your way to not watch it now.
Now, I'm gonna say this real quick. Speaking of Game of Thrones, the fucking level of entitlement. I think I said this to you however long ago when Game of Thrones had first ended, but the level of entitlement that people have to sign a petition for the writers to rewrite that shit. Yo.
I mean, they could. I get that they probably shouldn't do a petition. At the same time, the series, those writers just fucking shat the bed that last season. They probably
2.5 Men did the same thing. Now, granted, 2.5 Men wasn't as popular as Game of Thrones, but 2.5
You don't watch 2.5 Men and expect good writing. You expect, Charlie Sheen to be drunk in a room. Oh, I'm sorry, he got removed from the show. Ashton Kutcher to be drunk in a room while his brother is like failing with women.
That's why I say. Admittedly, it steps down. It is admittedly steps down, but it was still up there. And the 2.5 Men, if you watch the finale of 2.5 Men. That was basically the director and writer giving the fans a middle finger. The show ended with the very last bits of the show with some dude walking up to the stairs from behind that looked like Charlie Sheen-ish from behind. And then something fell on him like a piano or some shit. Then the fucking director walks up and says into the camera, the director himself of the actual show says into the camera, winning. And then the piano fell on the director and that was it. That was a middle finger to the fans for not watching the show. I'm not making that up. That is a middle finger to the fans.
That's hilarious, is what
that is. Some. Y'all just mad. So, but no, you don't sign a petition, bro. I didn't watch Dexter.
I didn't sign that petition. I didn't.
I'm talking about well, people listening and watching. Hopefully, y'all didn't, but whoever did, that's a level of entitlement because I didn't watch Dexter. People say Dexter ended poorly. How I Met Your Mother, I watched all the way up till bits of the last season because it wasn't that good to me. And then people told me the fucking finale of How I Met Your Mother was bullshit. Until years later, people didn't like the fade to black for The Sopranos. But you don't sign no fucking petition.
People still don't like the fade. Well, here's the thing with those other things. Here's the things with those other things like Sopranos. It had a bad last 5 seconds of the show. Oh no. It still had 90% of the show. Season 8 of Game of Thrones, which I think was the last season, either 8 or 9, I forget how many seasons it had. The final season, the people admitted that they worked on it half as much. They wanted to just rush through it so they could work on it. They did admit that, yeah. The actors were like, no, we're fine being on here until we get the story right because we had been doing so well. And, so everything else, it solely fell on the directors and writers who were just like, let's just mail it in and get this shit over with. And you could tell in the story because a lot of shit happened that didn't fully make sense. Now, I will say, George R. Martin did the smart thing here by letting them burn that down so he could write his books and be like, see, this is the superior version. Kind of like the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, where it's like
4 hours
where people just are happy to see anything other than that original version. No, I didn't see either version of the movie, nor am I planning to. I'll just take people's word for it. But it's the same situation where it's like, no, here's the same shit with some slightly different shit. Yeah, that shit you didn't like, it was never meant to be in there at all. And now we got this thing. This is how the movie was supposed to be the whole time. And George R. Martin, since he didn't finish writing his last book, but told the writers certain points he wanted to get to about the end, They did that, and then he's like, "Oh, fans didn't like that happening. I can write whatever I want now. That's officially not canon. No one cares, and I sell 1,000,000 copies because people are so desperate to see a good ending to this."
I got you. This is my thing. You can have your outrage. You can call them out. Tag the motherfuckers on Twitter. Even do fucking hashtag Game of Thrones sucked or whatever the fuck you gotta do. But signing a petition to rewrite the fucking finale is just a huge level of entitlement I can't get past.
It is entitled, but whatever. I just suggest people. I'd say people should do what I do and tell people not to watch it. It is a horrible mistake to get into that series. It's like Bleach. You can't just hate on here. What do you hate? You hate on Bleach, but you watch One Piece and Dragon Ball. You don't read real series like Bleach and blah blah blah. Oh look, that's Kenpachi Zaraki behind me. Yes, I've read through all of Bleach too, and I still say, much like Game of Thrones, I tell people don't bother getting into it.
As amazing as Breaking Bad was, Breaking Bad had some of the best writing I have ever seen in a TV show, some of the best acting, so good that Aaron Paul was going to be killed off in one of the first few episodes, was so good, lasted to the fucking end of the show. Like, the acting was that fucking good. The story was built so organically, all that shit. If the finale for Breaking Bad sucked an humongous amount of doggy turds, I still wouldn't sign a petition to have them rewrite it.
The one episode or the whole season?
I told you I wasn't a big fan.
Because people, I think, wanted that whole season rewritten.
It wasn't a garbage season. I will say that.
I would say because people wanted that whole season rewritten. And I can't say I necessarily blame them. Did I sign the petition or would I have signed it? No, but I can't blame people for wanting to enjoy something, because you also got to look at how bad that was. We're not talking about a fade to black and you can pinky out whether or not that's good artistic choice, or dropping a piano on the worst thing that happened to your show if that's a bad artistic choice.
That was a middle finger to the fans.
I mean, or middle finger to Charlie Sheen, say fuck you, we killed you. That's whatever. He's the worst thing that happened to their show, so why not kill him off? So with Game of Thrones, you got to remember, well, you may not because you weren't into it. That shit was everywhere.
Breaking Bad was too.
Breaking Bad. It's not Game of Thrones in terms of shitty quality.
Right.
No, Breaking Bad ended, people still say, oh, you remember Breaking Bad? That's a classic series. Game of Thrones last season was so bad, it went from being cultural phenomenon to what the fuck is a Game of Thrones? You can't find references to that shit anywhere except for maybe you see the actors and they're like, oh, they were on Game of Thrones once. Aside from that, no one gives a flying shit about it aside from people that are mad that last season happened. And that's how terrible that last season is. They threw out 6 seasons of well-written, well-acted content. I would say 7, but 7, you kind of see the cracks forming. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, they still got forever to turn stuff around. We'll see where this goes. But 8, oof.
I will say, admittedly, like I keep saying, I have not watched Game of Thrones yet.
And
so I'm just what would be hilarious would be if I did finally watch Game of Thrones, come to that season and say, damn, I wish I could have signed that petition. That would make this whole conversation fucking hilarious. But so far, I see it as a level of entitlement. You got a point you want to make real quick?
No.
Okay, well, that being said, hopefully y'all feel entitled to keep on watching and listening to this podcast, and you feel even more entitled and giving to share it somewhere if you feel so inclined to do so.
Yeah.
But all that being...
5 people out there that exist, if one of y'all happens to watch our show and still be, and by 5 people that exist, I mean that like Game of Thrones, if y'all happen to come across our show, please tell us in the comments that you actually liked Game of Thrones and the way it ended.
I would love to hear people's views on if they like Game of Thrones, and their like you said, their view on if it ended. But even more so, I would love to hear. Well, I would love to hear both sides. If you liked it and how you feel about the ending, or if you didn't like it, and do you agree with signing the petition or not? So yeah. But on top of everything, just what you feel about everything that we said in this. And on the way closing it out, I never said, just to make it even, I guess. The last movie I cried in was either Onward. I didn't cry in Onward, but I got very emotional. That was a good one. And I think the last movie I cried in, surprisingly enough, was the first Creed, because all the odds were against him in the last match, and when he started holding his own, I was like, oh shit, he's actually doing it, and it made me feel good. So yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah, I get a lot of those moments where I'm like, let's go.
I started crying. I was like, he's actually doing it. But anyway, but that being said, if you want to see some more of your boy, you can go ahead and like my page on Facebook if you feel so entitled. Mine, I go under the name Superjaz, Superjaz. Please like the page on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter, Superjaz2. That would be Superjaz number 2. And follow me on Instagram, Forever Superjaz, forever spelled correctly, or, because you can do all that and then do this. Anywhere you stream your music, I am a rapper, as I said earlier in the podcast. Look up Superjaz, type in Too Much Free Time, and that is Too Much Free Time spelled correctly. That's the EP. Keep looking out for the album, My Secret Identity. Pete, tell me something good.
I can be found here. Also, you can find me at YouTube /Feogrande. That's Feogrande. I'm also on Twitch, streaming every day in 2021. Twitch.tv/Giotavi. That's Giotavi. Twitter's the same as the Twitch. Yeah. That's where you can follow me. I'm not quite as out there as my colleague.
It's because of music.
Yeah, I don't really have the snaptagrams and the face chats. But
say something with TikTok in it.
Sorry, face space. My bad.
Put they don't do Musically anymore. I was gonna say like a Tickly, but that don't even sound right.
Tickly. Oh no. I don't do Tickly either. That don't sound right. Nothing against people that are into stuff, that could be found on Tickly. You're into what you're into. Just, keep that to yourself. We'll have a good.
Have you heard of Musically?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tickly. Hey, Pete. As you can see, based on this closing, what are we going to talk about next time?
Whatever we want.
Love y'all.
Adios.